Hello again, everyone. This is Nurse Mo, and welcome back to the Straight A Nursing Podcast. This is episode 182, and today I'm sharing with you my best tips for being a standout nursing student. Now, before we do that, let's take a quick little detour for our listener shout out, and this one goes out to Megan, who says, I've completed Crucial Concepts Bootcamp and am halfway through my ADN program. I just love Nurse Mo and all of her products. I only wish that I had found her before I started my program. Now I praise her to anyone who will listen and are going into nursing school. She makes concepts easy to understand, and the little quizzes help reinforce the concepts as well and help you see where you may need extra help. Straight A Nursing has extensive resources that are sure to help you out. Also, nursing school is expensive and it can be a challenge to invest in other tools. But Nurse Mo's products are so affordable and a sound investment. Megan, thank you so much. That could not have come at a better time because if you guys are listening to this as the episodes come out, Crucial Concepts Bootcamp, the program that Megan was talking about, just went on sale on Black Friday. So if you're interested in learning about Crucial Concepts Bootcamp, I want you to go check it out. It is on sale right now. The link will be in the episode notes. So Megan, thank you so much. I'm so happy that you're feeling successful as you get through your ADN program. When you graduate and get your license, I want you to send me an email so that we can celebrate together. Okay, so if you're listening to this episode, maybe you are a high-achieving nursing student or want to be and want to stand out as the high achiever that you know that you are. You want to make a really good impression on your instructors and fellow colleagues. So if you're like most nursing students, you've got some big goals. You've got a really solid dedication to doing your absolute best. You wouldn't be here if you weren't, right? Because the path to get where you are right now is definitely not one of the easiest ones. And chances are you were a star student in your prerequisite classes. But something that happens to students sometimes is they get into nursing school and now they're surrounded by other star students who are just as dedicated, just as driven. And add to that the fact that maybe some of your classes or a lot of your classes are partially or fully online. You might be thinking, how do I stand out? How do I make that impression in this environment where maybe my classes aren't as connected to my instructors because they're online and everybody here is absolutely amazing. So, well, the good news is it's absolutely possible to be a standout student in nursing school. I'm going to give you my best tips for doing that. And I promise if you follow these tips, and they're very simple, you guys, your instructors will take notice, even with online classes. Now, some of these things may be super Captain Obvious to some of you who have worked. Maybe some of you have worked in a professional setting before, but many students haven't been in these kind of environments. So don't feel bad if some of these things never occurred to you before, and if some of them are super obvious to you, keep listening. I hope that you'll find some tidbits that you can take away from this, okay? So let's dive in. One of the key things that you can do to be a standout student and make that impression is show that you take this all very seriously. Now, some ways to do that are very, very simple things, you guys. One of the things is showing resourcefulness. Now, resourcefulness I could talk about, and I do talk about this in a lot more detail as we get further into our Secrets of Successful Nursing Students series, which you might be listening to. But if you can show resourcefulness, it shows that you're taking it seriously. Here is one quick example. If you are emailing your instructor with questions that are easily answered by looking in the syllabus, reading the school handbook, looking at the assignment instructions, or, dare I say it, even a simple Google search, you're not showing resourcefulness. You're not showing ownership. You're not showing that you take this seriously. Okay, so that is, I know it seems super basic. It is a really huge deal and an area where, unfortunately, a lot of students fall short because nursing school is so different from other types of programs. Your instructors want to see that you are resourceful because guess what? When you're a nurse working at the bedside, a lot of times it's just you, and you have to be able to figure out what to do to problem solve, to find the information you need, to find the resources you need to get what you need for the patient. You have to be resourceful. It is an underlying quality of successful students and successful nurses. Another simple thing to do to show you take this seriously is be on time, you guys. Be on time to clinical, be on time to class. Even if your class is broadcast remotely, you're meeting over Zoom or something like that, your late entrance is definitely noticed, and it's not a positive impression that you're making, not at all. I know sometimes lateness happens, right? Traffic, kids, your work schedule, maybe things get out of whack. If you do have to come to class late, join an online class late, enter as unobtrusively as you possibly can. I know you guys have been in those classes where somebody comes in late, they got the Starbucks, so are they late because they stopped and got a Starbucks? Maybe. And they, sashay through the room with all their stuff, make people get out of the way so that they can get to their preferred seat right in the center of the classroom. Don't be that person, okay? If you come in late, take the first available seat that you can find. Be as unobtrusive as possible, as silent as you can. Don't break the concentration of the instructor. Don't distract your fellow students. And then on a break, you can go get that key spot that you want right in the center of the room, okay? And again, showing up late with a coffee and to-go food is not a good look. I'm just saying. Okay, the other thing you can do to show that you take this very seriously is show up prepared. Bring the required equipment. This might be your stethoscope, a blood pressure cuff, whatever it might be. Do any required prep work ahead of time. Maybe you have prep work to do before skills lab or before a lecture or before a simulation. Have all of those things completed. And the other thing to do to show that you're taking this all very seriously is be dependable. This means meeting your deadlines, turning your homework in on time. It also means that if you say you're going to do something, then you follow through. This is so critical in clinical, you guys. Your patients, your nurses that you're working with are counting on you to do those things that you say you're going to do. And if you're in clinical and you commit to doing a task and you're not able to complete it, you have to circle back and let that person know. Okay, so be someone that they can count on. Okay, so those are just a few blanket things to do just to show that you take this seriously, okay? Along with that, I want you to exhibit professional behavior. This is going to help you stand out. Professional behavior refers to basically it's that etiquette of the workplace, and this applies to nursing school as well. It involves being respectful, courteous, conscientious, and again, dependable. So here are some examples of ways that you can exhibit professional behavior. So this might seem like a super no-brainer, but you guys would be shocked at how often this gets forgotten, and I just feel like I have to say it. The simplest thing you can do to show professional behavior is say please and say thank you. Again, you would be surprised at how often this simple thing is overlooked. Another thing that you can do is when your instructor gives you feedback, thank them. Don't make excuses. You can explain your rationale and your way of thinking as a method of seeking understanding. Absolutely. I want you to do that. But you have to be very careful how you word this. If you're starting, let's say your instructor gives you some feedback and your response back starts with the words, yeah, but, then stop right there. You're doing you're doing it wrong, okay? You could instead say, thank you for that feedback. Can I explain my thinking a little bit, get your take on that so that I can see where I was going wrong? That's how you share what you were thinking without sounding defensive, okay? Another thing you can do to exhibit professional behavior is adhere to the dress code and any policies about things like hairstyles, tattoos, piercings. Don't be that student that waits to get asked to take out their nose piercing if nose piercings aren't allowed, right? Don't be that student who has to be asked to put your hair up when it's clear in the policy that your hair has to be off your collar. Just adhere to the dress code from the get-go. Don't try to push it to see what you can get away with. They notice things like this, okay? I know it seems ridiculous in a lot of cases. It seems super uptight. It seems really old-fashioned and outdated. Regardless, stick to the dress code out of respect to your instructors, to your school, and your clinical site and the profession as well. When you're out there working as a nurse, lots of nurses have, brightly colored hair and tattoo sleeves and piercings, and that's great, and that's your individual personality. Unfortunately, nursing school is super uptight. If you haven't learned that yet, you will very, very soon. Just stick to the dress code, you guys. This is not an area where you want to waste your energy, or it's not a battle worth fighting. Another thing about the dress code is, I know college is, you might see your peers that are not nursing students going to class in their sweatpants, straight out of bed, with their Starbucks, looking like, they were up half the night, and that's fine because it's a sociology class and nobody cares. Again, nursing school, it's just a little bit more uptight, okay, you guys? So don't come to class looking like you just rolled out of bed into your wrinkled scrubs, okay? Wear your uniform when it's required. Try not to look like it just came from the bottom of the laundry pile, even though I tell you guys, don't even bother putting your clothes away. Just leave them in the laundry basket. Fold them and put them in the laundry basket, okay? Pay attention to personal hygiene. Sometimes you're in skills lab and you're using each other as practice, right? Your students, your classmates are going to be touching you a little bit, listening to your lungs, etc. Be clean, be tidy, okay? Okay, I think you guys get that. Another thing that you can do to exhibit professional behavior is simply avoid gossip, avoid pettiness, avoid drama, avoid rude, incivil behavior. You are above those things. Also, be a team player in class, be a team player in clinical. Nursing school is not the time for an every man for himself attitude, right? It is more if we all win, that's the best possible outcome kind of environment. Now, I'm not saying you need to carry your other classmates. It's hard enough just to carry yourself, right? But if you find a really great resource or tip, share it. If you hear that lab was rescheduled, it's super easy to send out a group me text to let your classmates also know about that. If you rock solidly grasp a concept that you notice your other classmates might be struggling with, offer to teach a quick little session on it in your study group. That's a fantastic way to learn, by the way, is by teaching it to someone else. When you are in clinical, help each other out. This is excellent for on-the-job training. If one of your classmates or one of the nurses asks you for help, I want you to do everything in your power to be able to offer that assistance. I guarantee that there will be a time when you need help and you'll be so grateful when someone says, of course, what can I do? Or even better, when someone notices that you're busy and comes up and just offers to help you. That is the best thing. So start that mentality now, okay? There's just kind of this unwritten rule in a unit where the teamwork is really great, that when someone needs help, you do what you can to help them because it will come back around. Some units do not have this culture, and you don't want to work in the kind of environment where nobody helps their coworkers. This is absolutely stressful, and it absolutely does negatively impact patient care. So just start now. Be that person who willingly helps and lifts up others. Another key factor in being that standout student is in how you communicate. Use clear and courteous communication. This is probably one of the biggest things that you can do. So very simply, when you are speaking to other people, especially your instructors, those people that might be, you might be a little bit nervous about talking to them initially, especially when you first meet, or the nurses that you meet on the unit or what have you. Look people in the eye. Use their title. Thank them for their advice. Thank them for their guidance. Err on the side of being too formal. They can always reel you back into a more casual, comfortable role if that's what they want. But, for example, don't start off calling your instructors Bob, okay? You want to go with Professor Monahan or Professor Stewart or Dr. Miller. And then Dr. Miller might say, you know what? It's okay. You can call me Bob. Right? That's fine. But don't start off there, you guys. And then I want you to infuse professionalism into your digital communication, namely in your emails. So if you are writing emails and they could have been copy and pasted as a text message, you're emailing wrong, okay? Use full sentences. Use a greeting. Use punctuation. Have a clear question or request. And again, always say please and thank you. I know some of you are thinking, why are we even talking about this? I promise you, it is 100% necessary. You guys should see some of the emails I get. So if I'm getting emails like this, I know that your instructors are. And trust me, it doesn't make the best impression. I'm just saying. So full sentences, greetings, a clear question, mostly show your gratitude. Say please, say thank you. It goes a really, really long way. Another thing that you can do that's super simple is make sure your email address is clear and to the point and professional. Okay, this is not the time to use surferdude186 as your email address because A, it's not professional, and B, when your instructor gets an email from Surfer Dude, they don't know who that is, but if they get an email from Michael Richards, they know who that is, okay? Use some form of your name. Again, it helps the receiver know who you are, and it just comes across so much more professionally. Okay, another thing you can do to show your standout status as an amazing rock star, good impression student is show your work ethic. Be thorough in everything that you do. Instructors can generally tell when you throw something together at the last minute. I know there will be times when you need to do that because life happens, your schedule is intense. Let that be the exception and not the norm. I want you to put thought and care into your assignments because this shows you understand the weight of what you are getting yourself into. It shows that you take this all very seriously. You are not doing these assignments to earn a certain grade or pass a test or just turn something in on time. You're doing them so that someday, when there's nothing standing between you and a patient, you can apply that knowledge to help that person who is 100% completely counting on you to do the right thing in that moment. That is why you're taking everything so seriously and putting so much thoroughness and thought and careful attention into what you're doing. And then just a quick word about academic integrity. It is, of course, absolutely vital because, again, your patient is counting on you to know this information, not just have used a Quizlet to pass a quiz in nursing school, okay? They want to know that you know it. Think about how you would feel if you were in a hospital bed and your nurse came to the bedside and you knew that the only way they got through nursing school was by using a test bank. And they somehow miraculously passed their NCLEX, by the way. And then how would you feel if the other nurse that came to your bedside got through nursing school because they worked hard and were thorough and had academic integrity? Which nurse would you feel more comfortable having provide your care? Obviously, the nurse who you know understands the information because they actually learned it. So I know those things are out there, test banks, all that kind of stuff, but ask yourself, is this the kind of nurse that you want to be? If you take shortcuts at school, are you going to be taking shortcuts at the bedside? I know it's really hard to believe, but I promise you, even though nursing school is really hard, the job is about 100 times harder. So your integrity starts here, okay? Academic integrity is huge. Another thing I want to talk about before we go is simply, how do you make a positive impression online? It can be a little bit more work because you're not meeting your instructors face-to-face as often as you would like. So let's say you have an online class that you attend at the same time as your instructor. Attend your online class from your study space, you guys, whether that's a desk or a corner of the dining room table. Whatever that is, that looks so much more professional, so much more like you take all this seriously than if you're clearly lounging on the couch or lounging in your bed. That sends a message that you don't take this as seriously and that you're not as engaged. So set up just as if you were going to be attending a work meeting online, okay? I also want you to, again, show up on time. It's as important to show up on time to an online class as it is to an in-person class. Also, simple thing, but mute yourself when you're entering an online class. I don't know how many times I've been in online classes or online meetings and somebody will enter, especially if they enter late and they haven't muted themselves and they're, talking to their kids or whatever. It's disruptive to everyone and it shows that you don't take yourself seriously or value the time of the person who is leading that meeting. I want you to look presentable online just as you would in person. I'm not saying you have to get dressed, do full hair makeup, but look presentable, you guys. Stay engaged throughout the class. Stay present. Look like you're paying attention because you are paying attention. Don't be multitasking. Don't be online shopping or doing other homework and you're just there to check off that you attended class, but actually be engaged. Ask questions. Join in on the discussion. Do those things. Take advantage of the fact that you have your professor's attention at this time. And then, super simple thing at the very end, thank the instructor for the class. Teaching is really hard work, and it's just polite to thank the person who taught you that lesson. So I hope this helped give you a few tips so that your instructors can see what a thoughtful, dedicated, talented, professional, and impressive student that you are. So I do have a whole bunch of tips on being a successful nursing student. I will link to that in the show notes so that you guys can get all of those tips all together. And again, boot camp just went on sale. I am going to put the link to that in the show notes as well. Okay, so I will see you back here in a few days for our next episode, and this one is on IV medication safety. So we've talked a lot about medication safety in the past when I talked about bulletproofing your patient. We're going to talk about IV medication safety specifically. So I'll see you back here for that in just a few days. Bye for now. This podcast is brought to you by Straight A Nursing.